Hey everybody, so this week what we're going to be working on is how to remove color from a photo using Photoshop. And so we haven't used Photoshop at all yet. We'll do a little bit of editing, probably in Lightroom first, and then bring some of these photos over to Photoshop. But to speed up the process, we're going to do a couple of things here. So I'm going to grab a couple of these photos and I'm going to walk you through how to do it. So we've got this picture here, and then I'm going to grab this one. So I'm downloading this file, and then I'm just going to go through maybe 3 or 4 of these. We'll grab this one, and then I think I might grab 1 or 2 more. Let's see, this one, and the reason I'll do a couple of them is just so you can kind of see a little bit of how we go about selecting some of these. Okay, so I've got several red object files downloaded. Okay, so then I'm going to go into Photoshop. And so here's our assignment right here. And I'm going to go File, Open. And then in my downloads, I've got a couple of reds. So here we go. These 4. So I'm going to open all of these up. And so when I open these, there we go. And so we haven't used Photoshop at all. So this is all very new to what we're doing. Okay, so I've got this picture here. Now, when we want to zoom in, I'm going to grab my magnifying glass right down here, and I'm going to click on that. And then I've got a minus right here, so if I go, maybe I by mistake go too far, then I'm going to go click on the negative and then zoom back out. Okay, now when I select this, I'm going to use the quick selection tool. Now, when we want to change the size of this, we can go through this route and change it, and then just click here, and then I can select everything I need to. And so basically I'm just selecting the red part. If I want to select the entire ladybug, I can do that, but I don't really need to. So I'm just going to select everything in where the ladybug is. Okay, so now I've got this part selected. Then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go select inverse. And now you see all what I call dancing ants. So you got all these dancing ants running around the sides here. So that means this area is all selected. Okay, so if I didn't have that, watch what would happen. So I got select inverse. So now I've got just this part selected. Now if I go, let's go image adjustments, desaturate, then I'm just going to desaturate this part, and that's not going to work. So Command Z. So then I have to go select inverse, and again I have the dancing ant, so I know this part's selected, and then I'm going to go image adjustments and then desaturate. And there we go. And so now I've got my ladybug. Okay, so I'm going to go into this next picture here. Now let's say I just want to select this part. So there's a couple of steps that are involved in all of this. So I'm going to use the quick selection again. This one's pretty small for this file because it's a much larger file. So then I'm just going to go even larger. So it all depends on kind of what you're using. So I'm going to select this part. And so now I've got my pepper selected. And I might have to go in here and select a little bit more. Now I've selected too much of it. Okay, so then I'm just going to press this minus, and I can get rid of that part. Okay, so now I've just got that one selected. And it's up to you what you want to select for this. Then I'm going to go select inverse, image adjustments, desaturate. Okay, so now I've just got one pepper. And then I'm going to go select, deselect, and there we go. Now you can see I didn't select it perfectly. So then what I would have to do is go edit, undo select, edit, undo select, edit, undo inverse. And so then I'm going to go in here, and well, since I have the minus selected, I have to go back into the plus. And then I have to select that a little bit better, and then select that little piece. Okay, so now I've got it selected appropriately. Then I go select inverse, image, adjustments, desaturate, and then select, deselect. Okay. Now, as I'm going through this as well, I also want to just mess around with this a little bit. Just because I've changed the color of it doesn't mean I don't want to make any more edits to it, because I still want to add some contrast to it. So you can see what I'm doing with this. And so now the color pops a little bit more. I'm going to go into this next one here, and I've got this image. And so I'm going to zoom in on this. Now it's a minus, so I want the plus. And I zoom in, so there we go. In fact, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so I can see the whole picture. and then I'm going to use my quick selection tool. This is obviously way too big, so I'll go edit, undo quick selection, and I want to make my size much smaller. Okay, so that one's pretty good, 23. I can even go a little bit smaller, and there we go. So now it's selected, and then we'll go select, inverse, image, adjustments, desaturate, and then there you go. So you've got something like that. Last one here for this image, so we'll zoom in on it. Okay, so again, I had the minus selected, so I went with the plus. Click, 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 there we go. And then for this, I'm going to have to probably select a little bit more. Now, I'm going to end up having some of the green of this part selected. Okay, I don't necessarily need to, but for this example, I kind of want to, just so you can see what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I'm selecting as much as I can here. Now you can see how there's a couple little spots. Now, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to use my lasso tool. Now if I press the Option key, do you see what's happening? I press the Option key and it's a minus. So the minus means I'm going to deselect some part of this. Okay, and then right in here, I want to get rid of this background part. So I'm going to press the Option key, select this area. So I'm removing that area. Okay, now right here, I want to add to it. So I don't know if you can see this perfectly, but I'm going to zoom in a little bit more on this. But this part's not selected right. So I'm going to use my lasso tool and hold the Shift key, and I'm just going ahead and selecting that part. Okay, so now there's a little bit more selected. Same with right up here. I'm going to add to this little selection here. Okay, right in here there's a little miscue, so I'm going to select that. And what I'm doing is I'm clicking with the mouse while I'm holding the Shift key. And then again, I'm going to draw this part here. So I'm just drawing wherever I think there is some color that should be added. Okay, so that looks pretty decent. Now I'm going to go back into what I had. And there we go. All right, so I've got that part. Looks like I need to select that little portion. So I'm going to go Shift, hold that Shift key, and I'm adding to the selection here. Okay. Now, last thing I'm going to do, select, inverse, and then image, adjustments, desaturate. Okay. Now, let's say I wanted to have everything selected in there. Okay, so what I've got right now is something like that, which looks pretty nice. My other option, I'm going to go edit, undo desaturation. And so I've got this whole area. So I'm going to go edit, undo that again, and then I'm going to add my quick selection tool, and I'm actually going to select the entire vase. All right, so I've got most of it selected. And then from there, I'm going to go select, inverse, and then image, adjustments, desaturate. And so now I've got something like that. So it's up to you what you end up doing for your design. If that's what you want to go with, that's fine. If you want to do something else, that's fine too. Now, when I save this, I'm going to go File, Save As, and I want to go, I'll probably save it to my desktop. I'm going to save it as a JPEG. And then let's see what happens when I hit Save, Replace, and then this shows up. And then I've got this little number here. Probably go as large as you can for your edits. Okay, so we can do something like that. So this is still tiny, and we'll talk about the sizing at a different time. But for right now, save these as a larger file, and then you'll click OK. And I'm actually not going to do that because I'm going to save this file for later on. Okay, so I'm going to hit cancel, but you guys would hit OK. So there you go. You can see the difference from what we're doing here. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is our history window. And so our history window is, we'll go Window and then History. So it's checked right now. So since it's checked, it's open. So if it's unchecked, it's gone. And I'll go Window, History. And what that does is it shows me all of my last selections that I've done. Okay, so when we open it, it looks like that. And then when we edit and make all our edits, we got something like that. If I go to this one, there it is. You can scroll down. There's my last edit. In fact, you can even see, remember when I told you about making some of those edits? You can see the difference from before to after with the edits. Okay? So, there you go. That is how we go about making some of these edits using Photoshop. So reach out if you have any questions on how to do this, and if Photoshop isn't working for you, let me know, and we've got other options for you to use. So enjoy yourself. Good luck with this, and this is super fun stuff when we start working with Photoshop.